What up, though? Welcome to this video review of a love story from the streets. This movie, this movie, this movie. A lot of people gonna think I was harsh on this movie. And maybe I was a little harsh on this movie. As you know, my rating system is 5 stars. It's a 5-star rating system. It's based on 5 categories, and those categories are plot and story. Plot and story is one category. Acting, audio, continuity, and cinematography. I take all the stars from those 5 categories. The total amount of stars are divided up by the 5 categories, and then you get the star rating of the movie. The 5 categories are based on what I see in the movie, based on the audio, and you know the rest of the categories. So it's based on all the categories. I watch each movie a minimum of 3 times. Sometimes I watch it 4 times. Sometimes I watch it 5. But before I actually give my rating, I watch the movie a minimum of 3 times. Each time looking for something different, right? The first time I may watch it and I may just focus totally on the acting. The second time I watch it, actually the first time I watch it, I pretty much base it on the acting and the plot and the story. So it's the plot and the story pretty much the first time I watch it. The second time I watch it, I just dissect the audio, right? I may watch the movie 2 hours, 3 hours, because I'm constantly rewinding and watching different scenes over and over again. If I see something that I notice maybe that may be a mistake made, I watch it over and over again to make sure before I give the rating I was actually right on what I saw that was wrong or out of place, right? Then the third time I watch it, it's pretty much based on the continuity and the cinematography, right? And then I watch it again just to watch it and enjoy it myself, right? But it's based on those 5 categories, right? I also dissect the acting from each actor in the movie. I give them a star rating based on how I felt they acted, right? Now we're going to get into this movie, right? I'm gonna start from the bad. I'm not gonna say bad. I'm gonna start from what I thought. I'm gonna start from the lowest rating and go to the highest rating, right? So, pretty much the plot. We're gonna start with the plot of this movie, the plot and the story. The story and plot. It was really no different from anything that that I see from any Detroit movie. A lot of movies that come out of Detroit are a lot of hood movies, right? It's based on drug dealing, gang banging, hustling, shooting and killing, revenge, pretty much with drugs, right? A lot of the movies that come out of the city are based on that, right? So the fact that a lot of movies are based on that, right? A lot of movies tend to have, even though it may have a different title, you know, the title may be something different, right? The plot in the story pretty much lines up with a lot of these Detroit movies, right? Like I just said, drug dealing, gang banging, murder, kill, kill. Even if it's a love story about somebody falling in love because a girl fell in love with the dope dealer, right? Or the dope dealer fell in love with the girl, or both, right? It's still pretty much based on drugs, right? Drugs, shooting and killing, getting revenge on somebody who killed one of their friends in the dope gang, right? And but you see that over and over and over again. It kind of plays itself out, right? This movie, A Love Story from the Streets, the story was no different than a lot of these Detroit movies, right? We get to a point where, like I say, Detroit movies, they getting better, right? Even the drug dealer movies, like I just said, shoot 'em up, kill, kill, kill. Even those are getting better overall, but it's still the same story, right? The same fucking story, right? So the fact that this story and plot was really no different than about 80 to 90% of the Detroit movies that come out of the city, y'all don't think I went hard on this, and I did go hard on this because of that fact. So the plot and the story only got a 2.5 stars. It got 2.5 stars, right? They delivered the delivery of the story and the plot was okay, right? The twist in the movie was pretty much no different twist in these type of stories, right? So the movie to me was almost, it was like predictable at points, right? It was real predictable. I pretty much knew what was going to happen, right? So the story and the plot got a 2.5 star rating because of that fact, right? It was no different than anything that I've seen, right? Which made it the fact that it was something that comes out of the city a lot. It was not that interesting or that intriguing to me, right? So the fact that it was something that's been played out over and over and over again in these type movies, a lot of the movies from the city, the fact that it's something that's been played out so many times, like I said, it just wasn't that interesting or intriguing to me. For that fact, it got a 2.5 star rating, right? Which is not that good. You know, a 1 rating is bad. A 2 rating is almost average, right? So a 2.5 is pretty much halfway to average, right? The story and the plot was average. It was almost average, right? Nothing different than what's been coming out of the city. And like I said, for that fact, it got a 2.5. I'm gonna skip the acting even though I had that second. I'm gonna go to the audio. Now I noticed a few things with the audio. I noticed a few things with the audio. I'm about to go to my notes. Yeah, I said notes. I took notes. So I didn't just sit down and just make some shit up. I took notes as I watched the movie. The audio, right? In the first, it wasn't the first scene, but it's probably the first Coney Island scene, right? When Reno, G, and Kenya was in Coney Island, when G and Reno came to eat, there was a part like at the end of the right before they left, there was a part where the audio spiked high. It spiked high and then it went back down, right? You actually, if you didn't catch it, you may have to go because the first time I watched it, I didn't catch it right. I think it was like the second time I watched the movie, I caught it. I was like, damn, the audio kind of spiked right there. It was like right after you see the pancakes, like after they made their order, and she went back to the back, and then to it cut to the fork going through the pancakes and the empty plate going back to the back, and then it cut back to Reno talking to Kenya about coming to this party and dancing. Right when he started talking, the audio actually it was before he started talking. When it went to that cut scene that showed the outside of the Coney Island, the audio kind of went high right there, and it remained high as Reno was talking. Then it kind of went back down to normal, like the editor called it. Like, but he probably didn't have enough audio and video footage to really fix that, or he didn't fix it right. He didn't get the levels right, so it kind of spiked high right there, right? So that cost right? Because like I say in movies, one of the most important things in movies is the audio, right? Because you can watch a movie, it can have bad acting, you could be watching like, damn, this acting is horrible, or this acting is good, right? And even if the cinematography is not that good, right? You can sit through a movie with bad acting and okay or maybe bad cinematography, and you can watch it still. But if you got bad audio or audio that's fucked up, that can really, like the cinematography can make you cut up too. But one of the main things that will, at least me, that will make you stop watching a movie is the fucking audio, right? The audio, that's where you got, when movies are being made, they have to make sure that the audio is on point, that they are getting very, very good audio. Because if you don't have good audio, you don't have a movie. Now, the overall audio of this movie, it was not horrible audio, it was not bad audio. The audio was actually okay. But the way I judged the audio within these reviews, I judged the audio actually a little harder than I judged the acting. The audio is what I judge the hardest, right? I judge the audio harder than anything in the movie. Then after the audio, it's like a toss up between the cinematography and the acting, right? But the audio is the top thing that I judge the hardest, right? I'm gonna go the hardest on the audio. So if there's mistakes in the audio, it's gonna cost the rating a lot, right? So it was that mistake. You may have to go back and watch it. Like I said, it was the Coney Island scene when it was the very end of that scene when Reno was talking to Kenya about coming to work at the club. Like right before when they made that cut to the outside of the building, the audio kind of spiked and it remained at that spiked volume right through Reno was talking until Kenya started talking. Right. So, that kind of cost. Damn, my black and mild just fucking went out right. And there was another part in the audio as well. Um, like I said, I'm going back to my notes. Um, oh yeah, this part of the audio was at the very end of the movie. Where's my lighter? It was at the end of the movie when the reporter, when Kenya and her lawyer was sitting back and they was watching the live report of the shooting when she shot old boy G. The reporters at the very end of her reporting, right, when she first started talking during the news report, it was good. The audio was actually good, right? It was nothing wrong with the audio. It was crisp audio. The volume was good. There was no spiking, high or low. But the problem with the audio in that point, was the fact that the audio was not matching up to her mouth at the very end, right? It was like the audio was going, but her mouth, the reporter's mouth, was moving faster than the audio, right? So that kind of cost the audio. Those two mistakes. Cause like I say, I judge the audio harder than anything. Those two mistakes really cost the audio, right? Because I think in order for me to give audio when I'm watching these movies, in order for me to give the audio 5 stars, there has to be absolutely no mistakes at all. Zero. Zilch. Nada. And one mistake will cost you hard, right? So, in order for me to give audio a 5 star rating, it has to be absolutely no mistakes at all in the audio. And that is possible to do. It is very possible to do. So those two mistakes actually cost the audio 2 stars. So the audio got 3 stars. Other than that, the audio would have been excellent. It would have been excellent. Uh, let me make sure it wasn't the next I missed in the audio. Let me go back to my notes. Just be clear. Were there any more audio mistakes? No, there was not. So those two audio mistakes really cost the movie and the rating for the audio. It really cost them dearly. Damn, fucking liar. So the audio got 3 out of 5 stars. Got a 3 star rating. I'm gonna go to the cinematography. The cinematography in this movie, awesome. The director of photography did a damn good fucking job, right? I didn't look up the names of the director of photography, right? Who was the head director and who was the other cameraman. But the director of photography did a damn good job. And if he made any mistakes, the editor did a good job in fixing those mistakes in post. So if the director of photography made any mistakes in the filming as far as having everything with the um, video matching up, it was fixed in post. So the cinematography was awesome. So the cinematography had no mistakes throughout the movie. All the colors lined up, cut scenes. The color was not different; it was the same throughout each scene. The color, no scenes. Nothing was blew out. Nothing was none, everything just matched up perfectly as far as that goes. So the cinematography got 5 stars. Continuity. I don't go as hard on the continuity, and it's very easy for every movie to get 5 stars in continuity, as long as they're paying attention, making sure that everything is right. Like Okay, so I was wondering if I gave you guys 290. For instance, when they're doing the scene, if the cup is on the right side of the table, the cup should remain on the right side of the table the entire scene. If somebody was wearing a watch and they had a watch on their left hand, the watch should be on their left hand, and you shouldn't see it on their left hand, and then when they cut and come back, it's on his right hand, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's very easy, as long as they paying attention to that, it's very easy to get 5 stars of continuity. However, I wouldn't say there were any real mistakes But there was a couple things I noticed continuity-wise, the flow of the movie that just did not make any fucking sense at all. Like, why in the fuck is this going on? What the fuck is that, right? And one thing I noticed was going back to the scene when Reno, Kenya, and G was in Coney Island, right? And G and Reno was ordering their food. It was one thing that made absolutely no motherfucking sense at all. I watched this scene probably a good 25 to 30 times, right? I just kept rewinding it and watching it over and over and over and over again. Like, this shit just don't seem fucking right, right? The background person that was sitting behind Reno. What the fuck did they have this background actor doing, right? Like, what the fuck was he actually doing? For one, every time they made a cut, whether they cut from Reno to Kenya or they cut from Reno to G, and then cut back to G. Every time they made a cut away from Reno and then cut back to him, this person in the background was doing something. I don't know what the fuck they was doing, right? You would think that the person sitting behind Reno would have a plate in front of him and would be eating and not paying attention to the motherfucking camera. But it's like this whoever this person was in the background was trying to fucking be noticed, right? Maybe they didn't notice it, right? They probably didn't notice this background person trying to be noticed. But I sure as hell did. I'm like, for one, every time they cut away and cut back, he was on a different side of the seat that he was sitting in the booth, right? It was Reno and G in the booth, then it was an empty booth, then there was a booth with this background person, right? And every time they cut away from Reno and cut back to him, this background person was on a different side of the motherfucking seat, right? The booth's got the long seats, right? He was either sitting on the left side or he was on the right side. Or was it a female? It might have been a girl, I don't know. But whoever this background actor was, every time they cut away from Reno and cut back, this motherfucker was on a different side of the seat. And not only was he on a different side of the seat, what in the blue hell was he fucking or she fucking doing, right? It's like they had 3 straws in their hand, right? You gotta go back and watch this shit, right? Because the motherfucker should have had a plate of food and eaten. It's like this person was paying attention to the camera and trying to be seen by the camera. Like I said, if anybody didn't notice it, I noticed the shit, right? This motherfucker had 3 straws. He was twirling the damn straws, right? I'm like, why is he twirling these motherfucking straws? It's like he being distracting, right? Trying to be noticed, right? Why do this person have 3 straws and the straws wasn't even open? He didn't even have a cup in front of him. Like, so why did he got 3 straws? He didn't even got a cup to be opening. I mean, to open the straws and to at least seem like he about to start drinking something, right? Didn't have no food to seem like he was about to start eating something. So he was sitting at a table, and it seemed like it was a ketchup bottle in front of him. And he had 3 straws, and he was just motherfucking juggling the goddamn straws, playing with the straws. And then at one point, they cut away from Reno, right? And they cut to Kenya, and then when they cut back to Reno, this motherfucker was playing with the straws in the mirror, like in the mirror, just playing with the knife. What the hell is going on with this damn background actor? Like, what the fuck is going on, right? Like, I ain't gonna got no food, so at least they could have told him, like, look, here's a plate of food. You don't even have to be eating it. Just act like you eating it, because the camera is going to be on Reno. You will be in the frame, but do not play for the frame, right? Do not act like you're trying to be seen in the frame. Just act like you a normal person sitting there eating your food so it flows with the continuity of the movie, right? That person in the background in that scene just like because I'm like, what the fuck? It distracted me. I'm like, what the fuck is this motherfucker doing? Like, why is he playing with these 3 straws? And And then on top of all that, like Reno and G ordered their food, right? Even though it didn't show them eating the food, right? By them by the end when they cut to the part where they show the pancakes going through the damn and they show the fork going through the pancakes and then they show the empty plate going back to the back, right? That at least that showed that they had already ate, right? Showed that they ate their food, so there was no need for the camera to show them eating, right? Because if you're following the movie, you can tell that that's showing that they already ate. When they cut back, they was getting ready to leave because G got up and left. But Kenya like, we don't pay for his food, and Reno made that joke like he normally eat and run, right? He's like, no, I get it. I'm gonna pay for it. They ate and left. And this motherfucker still playing with them same three fucking straws. Like, nobody ever brought this motherfucker no food. They couldn't make it seem like while he was sitting there, like they could have had the other server like at least walk up to him with a plate of food, and that could have been shown in the background, like him getting food, right? Instead of him or she, playing with these three fucking straws, looking like somebody on ADHD that don't know what the fuck is this like. Why is he playing with these three straws like throughout the whole fucking scene? Like, what is going on with this person in these three straws? Like, they are playing it up for the camera, and I'm guessing the director did not catch that shit right, and the director of photography didn't catch that shit either. Like, I caught that shit. Like, how the fuck do you not catch these motherfuckers playing with these straws? Like, somebody get this motherfucker a plate so he can stop playing with these goddamn straws. He's fucking up the continuity, right? But I guess people who just watching the movie for enjoyment, they wasn't paying attention to that background actor. But as I'm breaking down these reviews, I pay attention to that shit, right? I'm like, what the fuck is he doing with these goddamn stars, right? So that kind of cost them in continuity. Didn't cost them a lot, but it cost them a little. And then there was another scene. There was another scene that made no sense to me either, right? Like when Rick and G went to New York. I guess they went to New York, right? Or the New York niggas was in Detroit in a hotel because you can clearly tell the New York motherfucker was in a hotel room, right? So maybe it was Detroit because they sure as hell went and shot up them motherfuckers and firebombed their fucking safe house quick as hell, right? They're like, we about to go do some. I ain't do no gangster shit in a while. Yeah, let's go do some gangster shit, right? Let's go pay these niggas a visit, right? They got there quick as hell, right? It was nighttime and they got there at night still, so it probably was in Detroit. It wasn't stated in the movie, but my guessing is that the New York niggas came to Detroit to bring the work. I don't know. But what didn't make any sense to me was when they firebombed and shot the house up, right? Now, it can be said that when the two niggas came running out the house and they shot the two niggas, the one that had on all black, he kind of fell to the right side of the frame and was laying on the ground. The one that had on the red, I'm guessing he got shot and killed too, but like, when they cut back, like, where the fuck was this motherfucker at? Because they shot both these niggas at the same time, right? So both of them should have probably fell not too far from each other, right? But this nigga in the red was nowhere in the fucking frame when they show old boy in the black laying by the bushes, right? But like I said, that I didn't take away, for that because that could be explained in different ways. Like he got shot, but he was still running, and he probably fell a block or two away and died or some shit. I don't know, but that could be explained, right? So even though it seemed weird to me, it didn't cost them nothing as far as point star wise in the continuity. I'm trying to like this black. It didn't cost them nothing star wise, right? But what didn't make any motherfucking sense to me that did cost them continuity wise How in the fuck did these New York niggas get a video to send to Rick? Right? Because even if Rick and them had cameras in the house, there was no way the New York niggas could get that video because they firebombed and shot the shit up and left so fast, right? And it was only two of them. The nigga in the front, the big black nigga, right, that opened the door, his bodyguard, right, that was like, I only leave his side for two reasons. Either I'm taking the shit or I'm coming to kill somebody, right? That motherfucker, right? He firebombed the house, right? Then he came back to the truck and opened up the back door so old boy can get out and shoot the motherfucker up, right? Then he closed the door. So how in the fuck how how did these niggas get a video to show this nigga to show this nigga like from they got the video from the front angle, right? So dude was shooting, right? Whoever got this video would have been like standing like on a porch or some shit, right? How in the fuck did these niggas get a video to send to Rick when nobody was out there shooting a motherfucking video, right? And the dude that was on the phone with Rick, when him and Rick was arguing, he like, I can't understand them. You saying you yelling, man. I can't understand what you're saying, man. You get calm down, right? That dude, right? How he made the phone call, right? He the one who called Rick. Rick picked up the phone. He may have said something real quick, and then Rick put the phone and started looking at the phone and watching the video. I'm like, the first thing that popped in my head when you started watching that video was, where in the fuck did the video come from? Who shot this video, right? Who? Because these two New York niggas did not shoot that video, right? They didn't shoot this motherfucker up and record the video at the same goddamn time. There was no way. No way continuity wise would have allowed that shit, right? Because the big black dude ran and firebombed the house first. Then he came back and opened the door, and he was standing next to Rick. I mean, not Rick. He was standing next to the dude that was shooting the fucking house up at the time. So there was no way he was standing in front of this dude to record this video. And nobody else came with these motherfuckers. It was just these two, right? So who shot the motherfucking video? Who shot the motherfucking video? It made absolutely no motherfucking sense at all, right? It just did not flow to me. It didn't flow continuity wise. Like, where did this goddamn video come from, right? So that cost them. So continuity, they still did good in continuity, right? So continuity was 4 out of 5 stars. They got 4 out of 5 stars for continuity. So I'm about to recap real quick before I do the final one. Cinematography got 5 stars. Continuity got 4 stars. Audio got 3 stars. Plot and story got 2.5 stars. Now let's get to the acting, right? Individually, there was some good acting in this movie, right? And this movie could have actually got anywhere from 4 stars to 4.5. It could have easily got 4 to 4.5 stars for acting, but it didn't. Like I said, it was some actors and actresses that or actress that brought the heat for this movie. And I'm gonna start with Daniel Jeffries, who played Reno. He's a good actor. He's a good actor. He didn't sound like he was reading from the script. His body language and emotions matched up to everything that he was doing and saying. His conversations in the movie flowed like conversations. Like I said, it didn't sound like he was reading from the script. Like, he knew his lines, he delivered them, and he delivered them with the emotion that they should have been delivered with, and the body language that they should have been delivered with as well. And like I said, he a good actor. He got 4 out of 5 stars. That shit is gone. Then Daniel Jeffries, who played Reno, got 4 out of 5 stars. Xavier Martin, who played Rick, just like Daniel Jeffries, this guy is a really he's a good actor. He brought some fire. Damn near every there was it was not a scene that he did not hit his mark. He hit his mark on every scene with delivering the lines, coming with the emotion that goes with the lines, the body language that goes with the lines, everything. When we when he was talking with somebody, it flowed like a conversation, right? It didn't seem like nobody was reading off the script. And him and Daniel Jeffries, they played off each other real fucking well when they had scenes where they were conversating and talking. They played off each other very, very well. I'm not going to get into every actor in this movie. I'm just going to go with Daniel Jeffries, who played Reno, Xavier Martin, who played Rick, uh, Siobhan Wilson, who played Carla, Grace So, who played Kenya. The reporters, I'm going to just bunch them up as a group. Robert Q. Jackson, who played Hollywood, and Mitch Icewood, who played Randy. I'm just sticking to those, right? So Xavier Martin got 4 out of 5 stars, right? He's a good actor. He hit it. Now I'm going to go to Robert Q. Jackson, who played Hollywood. Ain't nothing much I can say about Robert Q. Jackson, right? He didn't have that many lines, but just like every movie he in, he bring the motherfucking heat, right? I could very easily say he was the best actor in this movie, but I'm not. That he was great, but I'm not gonna say he was the best because that would be actually overshadowing the person who I actually thought brought the fucking heat and was good as fuck. So even though Robert Q. Jackson got a 5, and this other person got a 5 too, I'm not gonna say he was the best in this movie, even though he was the best. The only reason why I'm not going to say he was the best because the person who I think the best had many lines in this movie, and it would be a mischaracter of justice for me to say that Robert was the best actor, even though he brought the fire just like he always do. So Robert Q. Jackson got a 5. I don't need to say nothing else about him. Mitch Icewood, who played Randy. Meach motherfucking Icewood. Mitch Icewood is a good actor. Um, he brought. He didn't sound like he was reading off a script. When him and Grace So, who played Carla, when they had their scenes together, he actually made her look really good, right? He made her look good. Because he brought. He didn't sound like he was reading off a script. He brought the body language that matched what he was saying, and he brought the raw emotion, especially in the scene with him and Daniel Jeffries Reno when they got into the fight. Oh yeah, them two they played good off each other and did not sound like they were reading off a script. It sounded like you two motherfuckers who was about to fucking do battle and fight, right? Just like you see motherfuckers about to fight in the street when they get ready to go at it. Um, they brought it like two motherfuckers who was fighting in the streets for real, like somebody just came with a camera and just started recording these motherfuckers fighting, and they didn't have a script, right? That's how it seemed to me. It was just so natural and so good. So Meech Icewood got 4 out of 5 stars for the Randy role. He's a real good actor, right? He got 4 out of 5. The reporters. I'm gonna go to the reporters. Like at the end of the movie, when Kenya and her lawyer was coming out, and the news reporters was trying to ask her questions and stuff, they had to have the worst. Excuse, I hate that I have to say this, but this really brought the movie kind of down some to me. Like, and I didn't really take off for the audio. I could have. I think I did. I just didn't write it down because that was like the fourth time I watched the movie, and I was also studying for my test I got to take at Secretary of State. So I kind of let the audio on that part slide a little bit, but we on the acting right. These were some of. I hate to say this, but I gotta be honest in these reviews, right? These were some of the worst fucking news reporters that they could have fucking hired. All of them. That's why I put them together as a group. I could have separated them and did each one, but all of them was equally horrible. I hate to say it, but all of them were equally horrible. Like they all sounded like they was reading off a script and they didn't even have that many lines. They just had to ask a simple question. Each and every one of them had like a short question they had to ask, and the short question sounded like they was reading off a script. Right? I'm like, these have got to be the worst fucking news reporters that they found to act out the scene. Right? That really brought that brought that whole scene down. I watched that about 4 or 5 times. Like, let me make sure I'm not just being mean here. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being fucking real, right? I'm like, and I watched that probably five to 7 times. I just kept rewinding and watching it over and over again, right? Oh yeah. That's another audio part I missed too. Um, which, which is why the audio got a 3. I'm sorry, I missed this in my notes. I might have got to write it down. Another reason why the audio had got a 3 too was because the scene where I'm gonna go back to these horrible reporters in a second. The scene right before they walked out the building and me doing talking about these horrible reporters is what made me remember this part, right? The scene where Kenya and her lawyer was talking to the police, that audio was all fucked up, right? The audio between the conversation between Kenya and that officer that was standing up, her audio was totally different from the audio of that officer. It sounded like she was sitting in a room. Like it just sounded like her audio was bouncing off the walls, right? Like that audio was not recorded at the same time or something. Like like they used totally different audio. Like maybe the audio that they recorded at that time was so fucked up they couldn't use it, so they re-recorded the audio separately from the actual scene. That's what it seemed like to me. Like they recorded that audio of Kenya separately from that whole damn scene and just mixed it in. But that audio did not fucking match, right? It did not match. So I said that cost them in the audio too. But back to these horrible recorders, right? You had one motherfucking line, one motherfucking question, all fucking about 4 or 5 of y'all, and all 4 or 5 of y'all fucked up equally, right? And that brought the whole scene down. That entire scene, it just brought that whole scene down, in my opinion, right? Because those reporters were just equally awful. And they got collectively a 1.5 star out of 5. Yes, it was a 1.5. That was the lowest I've had to give anybody so far. Right? It was a 1.5. The acting was that fucking horrible. Right? So I'm going to recap before I get to the final one. Um, Daniel Jeffries, who played Reno, he got 4 stars. Xavier Martin, who played Rick, he got 4 stars. Um, before I get to the last two. The reporters got 1.5. Robert Q. Jackson got 5 stars uh, for Hollywood. Meech Icewood for Randy got 4 stars. Now I'm going to go to the final two actors, which are Siobhan Wilson, who played Carla, and Grace Soule, who played Kenya. Now I said I wasn't going to name um, Robert Q. Jackson, the best actor in this movie, even though he got 5 stars because his role was so small in this movie. But I said that there was one person who brought the fire for this movie, right? Who brought the fire, right? And that person was Siobhan Wilson, right? That played Kenya's mother, Carla Washington, right? She brought the flames. Yoga Flame. She was in my opinion, she was the best actor in this movie, right? Right? Mm. She didn't sound like she was reading from a script. Her body language matched everything that went with her lines. Her emotions, she, man, she brought it. And she even made Grace Soul, who played Kenya, look good in their scenes, right? She brought the fucking fire, right? She brought the fire, right? You would have thought she was a fucking crackhead, dope fiend for real. Like, she played that role to the motherfucking T. Even when she was, before she became the crackhead, when they showed the scenes of Kenya character when she was younger, about what, about 5 or 6 maybe, I don't know, 7, I don't know. I'm not even gonna rate that little kid. I'm not gonna rate that little kid. Actually, I'm gonna leave it out of it. Um, but Siobhan Wilson brought the fucking flames. She was in my opinion, the best actor in this movie. The best actor. Um, I can't say no more. Right? I'm just gonna leave it at that so I can cut this video soon. Um, she got 5 stars, 5 out of 5. Baby girl brought it. She was sweet. She got acting skills. She knows what she's doing on that set. She knows how to make um, her co-actors look good in the scenes that she's acting with them in. Right. Even the scene with her and Meech Icewood. I said Meech Icewood is a good actor. Right. When Kenya walked in on Meech Icewood getting, Randy getting head from her mama, them two together made Grace Soul look good in that scene. Because they made her step it up some. They brought some emotion out of her in that scene of what they were acting. So, Siobhan Wilson got 5 out of 5 stars. Now I'm going to say the last one is going to be Grace Soul. And y'all gonna probably think I'm going hard on Grace. And I probably am. This movie, like I said earlier, could have easily got 4 to 5 stars for the acting, but it didn't. And the reason why it didn't was because of the acting of Grace Soul. Like, I'm not gonna call her a bad actor, but she was almost there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just being real. Don't shoot the messenger. Well, I am the messenger and I am the whatever. But don't get mad at me for being real. Like I told y'all before, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just being real. She could benefit from acting classes and more acting classes. She's not the worst actor I've seen, but she damn sure wasn't nowhere near the best. A lot of her a lot of her scenes, and it sounded like she was reading from a script. Her narrating was not good. I've seen movies where the lead actor does a little bit of narrating, telling the story through the movie. But even her narrating, and she wasn't even on camera doing the narrating, right? And it just sounded like robotic, like she was just reading from the script, right? It didn't flow and come out naturally. It came out like, I am here, blah 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 blah, right? It came out like that. Like I can tell she. It came out like she was sitting in front of the microphone, right, in the booth, with the script in her hand, just reading from the script, like. And a lot of her lines in the movie came off like that too. Like she was reading from the script. Um, a lot of her emotion didn't match what she was saying. Some of her body language didn't match what she was saying. And at times where she should have been there were times where she should have had more emotion than what she was showing, right? Um, I'm not gonna keep going on and on and on and on, but the lead actor was the worst actor in the movie. No, actually, no, she wasn't. And Darren Reporters was the worst. Darren Reporters was garbage. Nope, I said I wasn't gonna be disrespectful. I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but I apologize. Those reporters were the worst. Um, Grace Soul, I think she can, with time, she will improve and be better. She got the potential to be a really good actor. She got the potential to even become a great actress. I keep calling her an actor. Women are actually actresses, not actors, right? Whatever the fuck. But I do believe she got the potential and she got the look to be a very good, talented, great actor. But right now, this movie is the first movie I seen her in. It wasn't a good showing to me. The movie could have benefited a little more had she been a better actor, or had they actually had a different lead actor. But is what brought her acting is what brought the whole star rating down for the actors, right? It just brought the whole movie, her acting, just to me, in my opinion, it brought the movie down. Right? It brought the movie down. Like I said, there were some scenes where, like I said, there were a lot of good individual actors in this movie, like Daniel Jeffries, like Siobhan Wilson, like Xavier Martin. Like I say, she had more lines. She had more scenes with Daniel Jeffries, who actually, in some parts, made her look good. Just like in some parts, Siobhan Wilson made her look good. But there were some parts where she did not look good at all. I'm not gonna keep talking about it, but she got 2.5 stars out of 5. So I'm gonna go over all these again. Daniel Jeffries, Reno, 4 stars. 4 stars. Xavier Martin, Rick, 4 stars. Siobhan Wilson, Carla, 5 stars. News reporters as a collective, 1.5. Robert Q. Jackson, 5 stars. Meech Icewood, 4 stars. And Grace Soul, 2.5. That ended up getting the movie for acting 3 stars. It could have been easily 4 to 5 stars. It could have easily been 5 stars. Honestly, it could have been anywhere from 4 to. I said 4 to 4.5. It could have been 4 to 5 stars for the acting, but Grace Soul acting brought the entire thing down, in my opinion. So over the 5 categories, we got plot and story, 2.5 stars. We got acting, 3 stars. We got audio, 3 stars. We got continuity, 4 stars. And we got cinematography, 5 stars. For a total of 16.5 stars for all the categories. If you take 16.5 stars and you divide it by 5 categories, the movie got a 3.5 star rating. The movie overall, it was an okay movie. Is it a movie that I would watch again? More than likely. Maybe if I'm high. Man, I'm not gonna be high because I don't smoke no more. And shit, god damn. But maybe if I'm with some friends and they got it on, I may watch it. But is it a movie that I would recommend to other people to watch? Probably not. Um, it was a movie that was just okay. I see a lot of people saying it was 10 out of 10. It was 10 out of 10. It was 9.5 out of 10. No, the fuck it wasn't. The fact that the story and the plot was nothing new and something that's been played out over and over and over and over again, that brought the movie down. The fact that they had some bad audio mistakes, it wasn't many, but it was some that was bad, that brought the movie down. The cinematography raised the movie up. The continuity didn't really have that much of an effect, but it was some shit that was kind of off. Like, what the fuck is that? And the acting, overall, the acting was okay, but Grace O's acting brought the movie down. That's my review of A Love Story from the Streets. 3.3 stars out of 5. Peace out.